Hello, one and all. Welcome to another episode of MMA Vision Analysis. This one, we're talking bantamweight division. We're talking Umar Nurmagomedov. We're talking about his manager's comments, Ali Abdelaziz, that is, when he addresses the future of Umar. He also talks about the Khabib record and the possibility of Umar surpassing that. We're going to get into that a little bit more. But before getting started, make sure to like, subscribe, and click that notification to get all it is that is new from this channel, your channel, the one and only MMA Vision Analysis. In a previous video, I mentioned that Ali Abdelaziz is not short on opinions. He manages a bunch of fighters that speak English as the second language. Obviously, Ali Abdelaziz himself speaks English as a second language as well, but he's a lot more comfortable voicing his opinion. At times, he makes sure that his opinions are heard. I do understand the necessity of that, taken into consideration that most of your fighters are not able to communicate comfortably as Ali Abdelaziz communicates, obviously, in the English language. And he actually addresses this very thing in a recent interview that Ali Abdelaziz did with ESPN. He says that Umar has to have the ability to, or gain the ability to, quote-unquote, trash talk. I agree with Ali Abdelaziz. You have to have that ability because that's how you gain fans. People are not necessarily there to watch you only fight. No, they want to tune into the storyline that is your name, your brand, ultimately. It's a big task that Nurmagomedov, last name, obviously the little brother, is trying to live up to, the big brother's legacy and image, that is Khabib, of course, the guy that's retired 29-0. Aside from the fact that Ali Abdelaziz thinks that Umar needs to do a bit of work in the trash talking department, but he thinks that this guy, Umar Nurmagomedov, will surpass older brother Khabib and the record of 29-0. If you think about it, it's extremely possible. Umar Nurmagomedov is 28 years old. He's 18-0. Khabib retired at 32. That gives Umar 4 years. If he fights 3 times a year for the next 4 years, then he will surpass his brother's record. And he will retire perhaps around the same time that his brother did. I assume that Ali Abdelaziz is talking about 30-0. When you look at a bantamweight division, you're going to come to realize that there are the top guys, and there are the rest of them, with all due respect. But there are definitely fantastic matchups to be had in that bantamweight division. Is it possible for Umar to move up in weight at some point in the future? That's also very possible, to see him go up to featherweight. Umar Nurmagomedov's skill set is nothing short of world class, absolutely clinical. He does not leave room for error. If you did not watch the Corey Sandhagen fight, I highly recommend that you do that. Corey Sandhagen is, talking about clinical, he's one of the top clinicians in that bantamweight division and in UFC in general. I don't want to say made Corey Sandhagen look bad, but he definitely made Corey Sandhagen look somewhat average, which that's not an easy task. Ali Abdelaziz, when he addresses his fighter, he says that this guy wrestles with guys much bigger than him. They're not able to take him down. Therefore, that's where Ali Abdelaziz's belief comes from. That's where it's stemming from. The fact that This guy cannot be taken down. Has great role models, obviously. What better role model than Khabib Nurmagomedov? And in all honesty, the landscape of the bantamweight division at this point, I think, is going to serve Umar Nurmagomedov well, right? Because you take out Mirab Dvilashvili, that's the guy that just took out Sugar Sean O'Malley. O'Malley at some point looked like he was almost untouchable in that bantamweight division. That's all the way up until the moment where he faced a wrestler like Dvilashvili. I do understand that stylistically Aljamain was somewhat similar, but when we're talking about those guys from the Caucasus Mountains, there's just something different about that wrestling. Obviously, the Georgian Dvilashvili is also from the Caucasus Mountains, neighbors, Georgia and Dagestan. And super stoked to see Umar Nurmagomedov versus a guy similar stylistically to himself, Mirad Dvilashvili. Who would end up on top? I believe the journey starts with that fight. And the fights after that, I just don't. Maybe a Davidson Figueiredo perhaps can give Umar Nurmagomedov a real run. But Pirian, maybe. There are a couple good matchups for him to be had. At least for the next 2 years, I think his time will be filled nicely in that bantamweight division. He can come up with 5 to 6 opponents. And then 5 to 6 opponents maybe in the featherweight division at some point in the future, conquer that division, win that title, maybe defend that title and retire maybe 30-0 at the age of 32, 33 for Umar Nurmagomedov, surpassing your brother's record. A lot to live up to. A lot to live up to. Keeping that O in mixed martial arts is extremely difficult. Extremely rare. If Umar manages to do that, hopefully in many different weight classes, in multiple weight classes, then we are truly perhaps looking, there's that potential of him being the greatest mixed martial artist of all time in the making. Okay? If you made it this far, I appreciate you for sticking around. Please let me know what you think in the comments and like, subscribe for more.